Welcome to KBS World Radio. You're now tuned in to Korea24's Korea Book Club, where we explore the world of Korean literature. This is our weekend replay edition, playing back our book segment from Wednesday's show. We hope you enjoy it. I'm your host, Kwon Jang-woo. Here with me in the studio, as ever, we have with us our literary critic, Barry Welsh. Barry, hello. It's great to see you again.
Yes, hello. Great to be back.
Okay, so what book are you introducing to our listeners today?
So this week we are reviewing a newly translated collection of short stories called Table for One Stories. The Korean title is 1인용 식탁 by Yun Go-eun, and the book was translated by Lizzie Bueller, and the English translation was just recently published by Weatherhead Books on Asia. And the collection was Yun's debut collection of stories when it was published in Korea back in 2008. And Yun was in her 20s when she was writing in this collection and when it was published. And she's since gone on to be recognised for her novel The Disaster Tourist, which we reviewed some time back and was very successful and popular. And the stories in Table for One offer a window into the peculiarities of modern life, or perhaps specifically modern Korean life. So, for example, we have an office worker who takes a course on how to dine alone confidently, to a man who heroically confronts his fear of bed bugs to save his apartment complex, and various other stories as well. And Yun is very good at crafting worlds and stories that blend the everyday with the surreal or the extraordinary. And her stories capture a blend of humour and dark surrealism, and she often tackles themes of isolation and the impact of industrialization on urban life and traditional Korean culture. And she explores stories ranging from a prematurely unearthed time capsule in Seoul to a vending machine repairman trapped in an endlessly snowbound motel. Okay. And through these stories, Yun has a very distinct voice. It's quirky and poignant at times, and she's very good at speaking to the universal yet often unconventional aspects of human existence. And these are compelling tales, and they do an excellent job of introducing English-speaking audiences to one of South Korea's most innovative and talented young writers.
Yes, The Disaster Tourist, that, as you said, was a work that I reviewed a few years back, and it left quite an impression on us as well, dubbed a dystopian feminist eco-thriller.
Right,
And so this short story collection was published in Korea before that, but it has only now been translated into English. It sounds like quite an interesting collection of stories as well. You said it offers a window into the peculiarities of modern Korean life. How does it do that? Can you tell us a bit more about the stories?
Right, sure. So readers of The Disaster Tourist will definitely recognise some similar thematic concerns. Perhaps not the eco element so much, but certainly some of the other aspects. And overall, this is a very thought-provoking collection. It taps into the nuances of solitary existence within the hustle and bustle of modern urban life, modern Seoul life. And the collection features tales that are both specific to Korean culture and also are sometimes at the same time universally resonant. And I think each story acts as a microcosm to explore larger themes such as alienation or the impact of technology on personal interactions and just the quest for identity in a crowded world. And the narrative sort of strands throughout the stories interlink. There are sort of several themes that are interlinked through the stories, but they are standalone stories. There's no sort of recurring characters, but we do see sort of echoes of themes and so on. But for instance, the protagonist in the title story is an office worker who confronts her discomfort with dining alone. And this is really about the broader societal pressures and the stigmas associated with solitude. This was a very prescient story. It became, there were things that happened in Korea in the news that this story seemed to anticipate.
Right.
And the protagonist enrolls in a class designed to teach people how to dine alone confidently. And this is really it's sort of about her personal journey, but it also taps into, I think, this collective anxiety about isolation and the sort of desire for acceptance. And then another story called Sweet Escape deals with an individual's paranoia paranoia about bed bugs. Again, this was a very prescient story which anticipated some recent concerns about bed bugs in big cities. But this is a young married man who is worried about bed bugs before going on a vacation. And again, this is about how personal fears and social hysteria can lead to irrational behaviours and decisions. Again, this came out before the pandemic, and it's very uncanny how it seems to comment on some of the things that happened during the pandemic. But this story, like others in the collection, uses these personal dilemmas to reflect on social problems, social issues, and together they weave a very rich tapestry of narrative that's engaging and enlightening. And I think the stories collectively stand out as a mirror to our times, or the past period that we've just lived through. And Yun reflects the complexities of trying to maintain individuality and connection in a world that often values conformity and more superficial interaction. So her storytelling is incisive and poignant, and I think she invites readers to look beyond the surface and consider the deeper implications of what it means to be truly alone in the modern world.
Right, so even though it was originally published in Korean in 2008, 16 years ago now, it seems like a lot of the topics and talking points are still relevant and uncannily poignant today, as you said. What else make these stories stand out?
Right, so I think what sets this collection apart is not just its focus on solitude, but the way she delves into these the subtle connections between isolation and social norms. And she does this by creating a mosaic of individual stories that encapsulate profound reflections on contemporary life and human interaction. So one of the distinctive aspects of her storytelling is her ability to infuse each tale with a rich layer of irony and humour. And I think this is engaging, but it also sharpens the critique that's inside the stories. So we see these very nuanced looks at the absurdities of modern living. And then as well, the endings of her stories also set her works apart. So rather than having sort of conclusive resolutions, many of the stories here conclude with open or ambiguous endings. And again, I think this is a reflection of the nature of the themes that she's writing about: identity and belonging and alienation. And that the decision challenges readers to reflect on the narratives and apply their own insights to their understanding of the world. So this isn't just a collection of stories, but I think a good conversation starter about the nature of solitude and community in the modern age. So overall, I think these are insightful, ironic, and culturally rich explorations of what it means to be alone together in the contemporary world. And it's a significant contribution to translated Korean literature and just the general discussion about modern life and isolation.
Wow, okay, so it certainly sounds like one for Korean literature enthusiasts, certainly then. Well, once again, it's called Table for One, Stories by Yun Go-eun, translated by Lizzie Bueller, and that was this week's pick for Korea Book Club. Barry, thank you for that review. We appreciate it as ever. Till next time, take care, and we'll see you soon.
Okay, take care.
KBS World Radio.